What's going on, investors? This is episode 164 of the Leadway Wealth Builders podcast with me, Chris Rickenbaugh. I am a real estate investor in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and I'm using this podcast to document my journey in real estate and business from all the way from quitting my job all the way to where I am now, just over a year later, fixing and flipping properties, working on a couple wholesale deals, and you are able to listen to my journey all on this podcast from episode 1 to 164. You can follow me on Instagram at chris.rickenbaugh. That's chris.REICHENBACH. That's on TikTok and Instagram, where you can follow daily about what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and just the craziness that is real estate. And if you're listening to this podcast, stay right where you are, or you can listen on Amazon, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and Podbean. So today's episode is going to be kind of a project update and just more headaches with one of my projects that I've had for just about 9 months now. So I wanted to be able to give this update because I haven't talked about it in a while. We've been doing more interviews, and we have a great interview on Friday with Ashley Coates. So she's an investor down in the Texas area, and she's going to have an amazing story, a business owner. They're doing lots of really cool flips, and I'm super excited for that episode to be able to come out and for you guys to be able to listen, just to listen to more people who are doing really cool things. So as for my project, so I wanted to be able to give a little bit of a rundown of what's been going on in the past couple of months here. So officially, I am under contract to sell one of my properties, and that one, just a little over the 6 months, being able to complete that, we'll be able to sell here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then my second project, we are finally just about finished up. It'll be finished this week, and we'll be able to get it cleaned and listed and then on the market by the end of next week. So if you're listening now, make sure you go check out those before and after pictures in the videos of all the listing. And then that leaves me with 2 other projects going on. So one, we just finished up the windows and doors, just kind of chugging along because the plan, has greatly changed, and I'm figuring out the money after, going through a really rough time through ending a partnership, and we thought we were going to have a ton of money coming back to us to be able to push the projects along, get things finished, and then just kind of keep chugging along and get rid of them, but that has not gone according to plan at all. And, it just kind of seems like one thing after another, more money having to come in, and it kind of puts me in this really tough situation of having to figure it out. And that's pretty much where we are right now. Is on these 2 projects, we're about to offload 2 of the houses. We're pricing them to be able to get rid of them. And for the 2 projects that I still have to complete, we're just pretty much getting started on one. And then the other one is about, I would say, a quarter of the way through to where we've got a good chunk of things done. Now, we actually just got hit with a stop work order. So I'm going to get into that here in a second. But the other one, we just got windows and doors replaced. So that's a good step forward. Next is going to be getting all the bathroom framed out to make sure it's a full 3-bed, 2-bath, because it's just a 3, 1.5 right now. And the reason we have to put in that second bathroom is because it boosts our ARV from right around probably 380 to 400 tops. We would probably list right under 400, and that moves our ARV to a floor of 425 all the way up to 475 based on the finishes. So basically from that, it's such a huge gap that we need to be able to put in that second bathroom, get our investors paid out, and just try to get rolling on them in general. So that one is underway as well. So that one's cool to get started. And so the flip from hell. So that is the title of the podcast. But, this one has just been punch in the gut, punch a head in the gut, and it just keeps happening over and over with this property. So this is the one I bought back in December, and we went through a 5-month eviction. So you can go back and listen to those podcasts about trying to get the tenants out, what's going on. We have it figured out, and now it's not figured out again. So we finally got the people out. We finally got started. Demo's complete. And we get in there and we realize that the budget that the person I trusted was way off. And that's on my fault, or it is my fault in the fact that I needed to do a better, analysis of it. And I was kind of put into a time crunch. I had money ready to invest, and it's just been a disaster from beginning to now. So trying to get out of that one. And like I said, we just got hit with a stop work order. So we're a good chunk in. We've got the electrical, or we've got it demoed. We've removed the walls. The electrical is all set up and ready to go. And then we just got the windows and doors replaced this past weekend, and then we got hit with a stop work order. So during that time, I had taken a couple contractors through to see what they could do. Is there any quote they could give me to be able to piece this along? And I believe one of the contractors alerted the city that there weren't any permits or something along the lines, because we weren't to that step yet. So he alerted the city, and that's why we have the stop work orders. So we're working now on getting those permits to be able to get rolling again, get them finished, and be able to get that property refinanced to be able to keep it as an Airbnb. So that one has been really, really tough, and it's really stretching me in a lot of different ways, because we thought it was going to be really simple from the beginning, just like every other investor is. And now it's turned into this thing of, how do we just get them complete and then kind of reset? So that's where my head is. And it's a lot of asking my mentors, like, hey, this is the situation, what can I do? And then, getting the ideas of where I'm going to go and what kind of terms I'm able to do. Because at this point, what I did was I shut off all of the money flow coming in. I'm not buying more flips. I'm not doing anything else except figuring out how to complete these projects with what I have going on, to not do any more damage to myself, to any investors, because of the partnership and the mistakes that I made. So trying to be able to do that, I'm working with my investors. They've all been pretty understanding about what's going on, which is really good. None of them have really freaked out. They kind of understand the position, and they're willing to help, which is really cool. So now it's on me that now we're cashing some of them out with the projects being sold, about how to be able to go about moving forward with what I have in plan, because, I'm just trying to finish the projects, and then we can do a really big reset. We can flip, wholesale, or do anything, but you have to have funds to be able to go and do that. So that's where it's kind of stuck us, along with, buying another subject 2 deal, or buying a sub 2 deal, working on a wholesale here and there. So, that is where my projects are at. So the flip from hell just gets a little, just another piece to the puzzle to be able to throw in there. It's kind of like you had 100 pieces, now there's about 120. So it's just kind of adding more steps for us. But we see the finish line. We know it's getting close. And that is the goal, by the end of the year, to be able to get all of these offloaded, complete, so that we can start 2026 fresh. I get asked about it a lot, and I said, year 1 was all about getting started and making a lot of mistakes, and year 2 has been trying to clean up those mistakes, trying to be able to get through it, finish them, and then reset to where, we can have a really good 2026. We have a little bit of a foundation, and then we can move from there with the better partners and people that I'm working with. So you're going to be able to listen to all of that here, through the good and the bad. I'm going to be bringing on more people to interview, and just being able to get them on the podcast, hear their stories and what they're doing in the real estate and business world. So You're going to be able to hear all of that here on the Leadway Wealth Builders podcast. Make sure you tune in for Friday on the podcast with Ashley Coates, who's going to have a great story. I met her at the Better Life Conference in Austin, Texas. So really cool that I'm able to meet people and then bring them on the podcast after I meet them. So super excited for that one and what she has going on down in Texas. So make sure you tune in for that one. But for this episode, this is all I got. This is episode 164, the Leadway Wealth Builders podcast with me, Chris Rickenbaugh, and I'll see you on Friday with a great interview.